Hi, everybody. Michael Barkan, Ray Dittinger. This is Nissan in-game live. Ray, they often say after a game, tale of two halves. This was the tale of one half, Ray. How bizarre, Ray. It is, at this point, 20-17. The Cowboys just haven't taken the lead before halftime after trailing 7-0, 7-3, 14-3, and then they mounted their first half comeback. And it seems a little disconcerting, even as well as Jalen Hurts has played at times. But there's another guy on the other side of the ball by the name of Michael Jacquet. We understand that is the official pronunciation of his name, the defensive back for the Eagles, that Jonathan Vilma is calling Jacquet. Jacquet is getting wet, big time, as they're burning him.
Yeah, they're killing him. It's pretty much. They've identified him as the go-to guy in the secondary, and they're just wearing him out. They're putting Michael Gallup over there, and he just can't deal with them. And every time they need a play, that's where they go. Mixing in a little CD Lamb a little bit scares me because you really haven't heard much from Amari Cooper, but he's out there too. He's sort of lurking.
Had the one big catch.
Yeah, and just at the point where you start focusing on Jacquet or you start looking over, you start rolling things towards Lamb, all of a sudden if you give Cooper a one-on-one, he could beat you too. The Cowboys have done a very good job of adjusting their offense. Everything now is a quick out, quick out, quick out. They've gotten Andy Dalton into a real nice rhythm now, and the ball's coming out quick. The Eagles' pressure isn't getting there at all. Running a lot of short routes, contained routes, underneath curls, stuff where where a receiver can find a spot in a soft spot in that zone and just get open, and Dalton's finding them one after another. I mean, Dalton's stats for the first half are very good.
Yeah.
And the
224 yards passing, Ray.
Yeah. He's been, as we said in pregame, the last 3 games, nobody's really been paying much attention to the Cowboys. They kind of wrote them off and stopped watching them. But the last 3 games, Dalton's been really good. He started the year poorly, then he had the injury, but since he's come back, the last 3 starts he's had 10 touchdown passes, just 3 interceptions. He's completing 66% of his passes coming into this game. So they had kind of really figured out an offense that works for him. And you're seeing he's clicking. At 14-3, after the Eagles hit the big pass at Deshaun Jackson, it kind of looks like you're figuring at that point they're going to blow this team out.
Yeah.
But the offense has really kind of stalled since then. Since the long pass to Jackson, Hurts is, by my math, I think he's 4 for 9 passing since then. And the offense has slowed down. I think they've gotten a little too far away from the run. I thought they had a really good running game going in that early drive. The first drive to the first touchdown, 11 plays, it was 9 runs, 2 passes. And it seems like, as often happens in these games, that Doug's getting more and more away from the run and more towards the pass. And as he's done that, the offense is kind of bogged down.
So let's take them one at a time. Jacquet, the corner, what the heck are they going to do to give him help? Can they give him enough help? Because not only does Dalton have the 224 yards passing, which is incredible, 146.7 passer rating, Andy Dalton, but Gallup has 6 catches for many receivers. That's a game's worth. He's got 121 yards for many receivers. That's a game's worth, and 2 touchdowns. So there's no reason they should let up. It's working, right?
No, they'll keep doing that until the Eagles adjust, and if the Eagles adjust, then they'll just adjust to the adjustment. If the Eagles start doubling that side or rolling the safeties to that side, then they're going to come back the other way, and that's where you're going to see Amari Cooper. That's where you're going to see CD Lamb. We've said coming into this that the Eagles secondary, the way it is right now, as depleted as it is, they don't match up well with these receivers. They just don't. So the only way that the Eagles can stop them or even slow them down is they got to get pressure on Dalton. They got to get pressure on Dalton, hurry him, sack him, distract him, throw off the timing of that passing game. But if he's able to get the ball out on time, which is what he's been able to do so far, those receivers are going to get open because they're winning all of those one-on-one matchups with the Eagles defensive backs.
Yeah. What about the Eagles defensive front that you just mentioned? Certainly they have guys out. Certainly when you look at some of their front, they are injured and nicked, as many players are this time of year, but they are not getting that pressure. What do they do to keep it on Andy Dalton?
Well, you've lost. Looks like Fletcher Cox came out of the game,
right.
So
he was very questionable to start.
And yeah, so he's out. You already knew you didn't have Barnett. You knew you didn't have Sweat. So you're thin across the front just as you're thin across the back. So you're just going to have to do the best you can. I mean, Schwartz is going to have to mix and match a little bit. I mean, he's going to have to change things up. He's probably going to have to blitz some, which he doesn't like to do, but he's probably going to have to, just to throw off the timing of their passing game. Because right now, you can see the Cowboys are just way too comfortable running their offense. I mean, they can pretty much do whatever they want to do. The ball, they're spreading the field, they're getting individual matchups, and Dalton's able to get the ball out on time. And the Eagles just, right now, they don't have the personnel to match up with that. So Jim Schwartz has to do something schematically to change that rhythm. In other words, he has to do some stuff that's going to get some pressure on them, maybe force him to throw it early, maybe take the ball away, maybe get a fumble, maybe get a tip ball, something like that that can break that momentum. Because right now the Cowboys' offense is dictating to the Eagles' defense.
They are, and it doesn't show any signs of going away. Jalen Hurts, I mentioned him at the top of this segment, but other than that, really not a lot. When you look at what he has done, 9 of 14, 178 yards. So he's on pace for 350 himself. A sack for 1 yard, so negligible. A touchdown. Long pass was 81 yards. And as I mentioned, a passer rating of 131.5. He continues to look like he belongs in an upper echelon status, at least, or will at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's playing well again. And I think that it seems to me that Peterson is doing a pretty good job of calling the plays. I mean, they've gotten a couple of plays that are new to the offense that I hadn't seen before. A couple of passes off the RPO where there's a fake, and then Hurts keeps the ball, and then looks like he's going to start to run, and then he dumps off to the tight end. It almost becomes like an elongated tight end screen, but it's a nice little play that they're building in there.
They sell it well, too.
Yeah, they've got some nice elements working in this offense right now, but I really think that they're leaning a little bit too much on the pass right now when you consider you're going against the worst run defense in football. I mean, I would really like to see the Eagles get back to running the ball a little bit more with Sanders, maybe with a little bit of Howard, and also mixing in Jalen Hurts with some designed runs. I mean, you saw it on that first drive. I mean, if the Eagles run the ball and they mix it between Hurts and Sanders, that the Cowboys just have an awful lot of trouble defending both of those guys. So you kind of have to make them do that again. I think you've gotten a little bit too much into a straight drop back Hurts throwing from the pocket, which he can do, but I think you're playing into whatever strength the Cowboys have. They clearly have problems with the run. So make them defend the run. That's what they do poorly, and that's what you do well.
Yeah. Finally, I think you had a 32-point Eagles total. I had them at 28. I think Barrett had 30. We thought they'd be able to score, and they're halfway to that total, or to 34 certainly. Is this going to be a real shootout in the second half, do you think?
Yeah, I thought both. This didn't figure to be a defensive game. I mean, the Cowboys' defense isn't that good, but the Cowboys' offense is that explosive, and the Eagles have defensive issues. So this figured to be a game that, I mean, I was surprised when I saw the over-under. I think it was 49. I mean, to me, that seemed very low, given the makeup of these two teams right now. So I'm not surprised to see where we are. And one of the things for sure, Mike, is both of these teams now in the locker room, they know what's happening in Washington. They know the score of that game down there, so they know what's at stake. It's a very good likelihood that whoever wins this game is going to be alive going into next Sunday.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it at that. We remind you that Barrett Brooks will join you after the third quarter, and then we will be back on NBC Sports Philadelphia Plus channel, on the Plus channel, as soon as the clock hits 0 with Eagles Postgame Live, and that'll be followed by Birds Outsiders with Joe Giglio and Roy Burton. All that coming your way on the NBC Sports Philadelphia family of networks, as we say. Enjoy the second half. Go Birds.